Hi, this is 12th Man from
Hello.
the stands. Match day 9, match number 3 that we want to talk about is Manchester City versus Crystal Palace, which Manchester City won 2-0, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah. So let's start with the goals. Let's start with the match. I saw the match. Did you?
I didn't see the match, unfortunately. I was on travel up north and I was in the jungles with no network coverage. Luckily, I was right on time back to.
You were in the jungle, but Dayan got dengue.
Yeah, he got dengue, but I was, I think, in a very clean jungle without any mosquitoes. It was very cold out there. So it was very cold up north in the mountains. I came back to Karachi right on time on Sunday morning, so I tuned into Liverpool versus United that day. But talking about Manchester City, I've seen the highlights, and I think they were dominant despite missing crucial players in that defense lineup. They had to make do. I think Rodri
And
and
Fernandinho.
Fernandinho were playing in defense.
Yes.
That is not their natural position.
Yeah, and a lot of talk was there that Crystal Palace's forwards, who have a lot of pace, especially Zaha, would be able to take advantage of it.
Crystal-
And John Stones was on the bench, and there was a time that Fernandinho even got a blow to his head, and there were scenes that whether if Stones was going to come on the field or not. But luckily he recovered, and City then just
Fernandinho, he's an exceptional player. I mean, I don't know what City would do without him, to be honest.
yeah he's
talk about-
he can play in the midfield. He can
He
play in
can do anything. He can even shoot. I mean, I've seen him score a goal at the moment, but the guy can shoot. He can dribble. He can pass. He can tackle.
He's a
an
utility
exceptional
player.
player. He's a utility player, and he's a very integral part of Guardiola's plan in the midfield. But he's not getting any younger, and City has to find a replacement. Rodri is there. I don't know if he's there as a replacement for Fernandinho in the future, but let's see. So I saw the highlights, and David Silva scored a beautiful goal.
Yeah,
With
both of the goals
confidence.
were actually really good. If you see Jesus' header, you don't really see nowadays that a diving headers nowadays.
Yeah, you don't, because football has changed now. You used to have those tall, lanky strikers in the
Yeah.
box. Now Aguero's not a tall guy. He's 5'9", 5'10".
Even Jesus is not.
Jesus is 5'8", 5'8". In fact, so they're not tall, but they still, that is the hunger. That is why we respect Manchester City.
Yeah, and the placement was perfect. The keeper couldn't do
Placement
anything.
perfect, but I'd like
Anything.
to again, talk about David Silva's goal, the
Yeah,
assist from
That
Sterling.
it's the assist for Sterling. A full disclosure, I personally hate Sterling. And when he was sold
the
by
Liverpool
Liverpool.
fans like you for that.
Yeah. And when he was sold by Liverpool for 40 million, I believe, and I was like, I don't know why he got 40 million.
See, he's a bargain. I mean, he wanted to become a Ronaldo wannabe. That's
Yeah.
what people say.
And
wanted to make a name for
it went to
himself.
his head as well. And there was a time that he struggled even at City.
He struggled at City, even at Liverpool. We had SAS, Suarez, Sterling, and
Sturridge.
Sturridge. Suarez, Sturridge, the triple S, I think.
Yeah, it was-
Sterling, Suarez, and Sturridge. So they were there. His finishing was questioned. He was
Yeah.
a very good player. He could dribble, pass, but his finishing was questioned. Guardiola
And he
has
was-
changed him.
Yeah,
Guardiola
and
has
he used
made
to
him into a
be
complete player.
selfish as well.
He used to be selfish, yes, and he did not make good finishes. His finishing was poor, but Guardiola has transformed him into an exceptional player. He manages to keep Leroy Sané out of the squad.
Yeah.
He can play on the left, he can play on the right, but prefers to
And
play
he's
on the
got
left.
pace as well.
He has pace, he can dribble.
The only thing that he can't do, I believe, is cross. He doesn't really cross that
Yeah,
well.
his crossing isn't the best, and I haven't seen him score long range goals, or free kicks either. But City have it covered. They have other players.
They have
to
got
do
De
that.
Bruyne.
De Bruyne is there, David Silva is there, Riyad Mahrez is there, so
Yeah, they don't really need.
Bernardo Silva is there, Zinchenko. I mean, you name it, they have.
Yeah,
They have all departments
they have
covered.
the checkbook for it.
They have the checkbook for it, but again, I say the reason why I respect Guardiola, you may have all the cash in the world, but to make those players play in the system you want,
Yeah, that's
that is something good. I mean, beautiful football. Despite the cash you have to make your team play the way you want them. And that pass from Sterling.
Sterling.
That was like you held the square button on.
And you lobbed it
You
over.
lobbed it like you held the L1 and triangle and lobbed it. And just
David
perfect
Silva.
circle finishing by David Silva.
Yeah, and we need to talk about David Silva as well. I believe it's been rumored that it's his last season in City.
This might be a last
And,
season.
you know,
Spanish players, they tend to go back to Spain. They miss sunny Spain.
Yeah,
But
and he's an
David Silva
exceptional player.
has been a wonderful servant for Manchester City. A very underrated player.
Yeah.
There was a question one time that who's a better midfield? Is it Ozil or is it David Silva? I was always in for for David Silva, sorry, because he offered a lot. The first time I saw David Silva was in Euro 2008. He was a versatile player. He was playing on the flanks, either the left or the right. He switched alongside Iniesta.
Yeah.
He was a very good player. Him and David Villa, when they came, David Villa moved to Barcelona. Silva came to Manchester City, and the last decade he's spent with Manchester City has been absolutely, revolutionizing.
Yeah, his ball control is exceptional.
Ball control, his passing, his vision, his leadership
and his
as
movement.
well. His movement,
Being at the right place at the right time,
Right
like
time
for the goal as well.
his leadership as well. That is something people miss out on. He's a wonderful player, and we're going to miss him when he leaves the Premier League. That is, unfortunately, we realize the worth of the player after he
He's
leaves.
gone.
He's gone. So
Yeah, and also crucially in the match, because I saw the match, Paris at the end had a really good flurry of chances, and at the time it really showed that even though you've got the best team, you keep the ball, you've got the best defense, but you've got a great keeper as well in Ederson. He made a couple of exceptional saves right at the
Ederson
end
is fantastic.
and kept a clean sheet.
Ederson is fantastic too. Brazilian keepers, Alisson and Ederson, a headache for the Brazilian national team when it comes to selecting. Both are very good. Ederson came from Benfica, relatively unknown, and people were like, "Who is Ederson?" And
Yeah.
he has been phenomenal.
He's
You know,
been phenomenal.
he was, I think, put into Guinness Book of World Record last year for the longest free kick.
That I don't know about that.
Yeah, he was. So he can shoot. He might start scoring from his goal line. But
City can do anything.
he's a very good goalkeeper, excellent. And they had a very shaky defense that day, but they've done their job. Crystal Palace, Wilfred Zaha, a lot of what is expected from him. He wanted to leave the club. And if you want to leave the club, you want good offers, you have to show for it. That you have to show it through your performances, not by words or social media.
Yeah.
So I think it's been a tough season for him. He and Von Bissaka since he's left Crystal Palace.
For Manchester.
So yeah, for Manchester United. So Palace have to find his replacement, and Zaha's not been firing. So
And Ayu's not been fighting either.
Ayu hasn't been firing. Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on. City just has been going on guns blazing. They even scored 5-1 on the Champions League just last night.
Expected. Atlanta has been struggling in the Champions League. The first time they're playing in the Champions League, they even lost away to Dinamo Zagreb, a team from Croatia, the Croatian champions, who are all often expected to lose rather than win. And even at home, they lost away, and they lost even at home. They put up a good fight against. I don't remember who they faced. Sorry, who's
I
the team
don't
in the
remember
group?
that. I don't remember.
So they lost at home as well, and City has been absolutely, that is expected. They like to trash their opponents, and they have a game against Aston Villa coming up in game week 10 on game week 10. So I expect City to win.
Of course.
The threat for City can be Jack Grealish, the captain of Villa, and James McGinn. I don't know what is his first name exactly, but McGinn, he's a Scottish attacker, so they could be the threat. But I think even despite missing out on key names in defense, I think City at home, they're going to hold out for a win. They're going to win.
So although City is now just 6 points behind, you're still
It is threatening. They're coming close, but eventually, like I said before, draws and losses will come. They've already lost 2 games. Now it's tough of mental strength. Can they keep on winning? Can they become consistent? Because they do win 2-3 games on the trot, but they start to lose it in the 4th or 5th game. Is this cycle going to continue, or are they going to recover?
Europe is going
Europe's
to
going
get
to take a toll on them as well, even on all of the teams competing in Europe. Let's see what happens till Christmas. The Christmas period is very tough. You have a lot of matches together coming in.
Yeah.
And then the Champions League moves into the knockout stages where it gets more intense.
That's true.
But I don't know, will City focus their switch, or will City switch their focus from the league to the Champions League?
I think
Or
City
will
has
they
City has
focus
the
on
bench
both?
strength to focus on both.
They have, but the injuries are concerned. De Bruyne had a few niggles last season. He's been injured in a few, I think missed a game or two this season, so
Yeah.
have to keep him fit, but he's an exceptional player. He's in very good form this season, and they have striking options. Jesus is there, Aguero is there,
Yeah.
good keeper.
Aguero was rested for this match.
Aguero was rested. I think, was looking eager to come on, but
Yeah.
they wanted to rest him because of Champions League.
Of course.
That is where Liverpool is lacking, the bench strength and the options to choose from.
All right. So that's it for Manchester City versus Palace for this week. Hope you liked the review, and kindly like the video, share it, subscribe to our channel, and also follow us on Facebook.
Follow us on Facebook, and if you have any questions, please post it on the comments below.